Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal, residing in Raurkela, Odisha, stands before you with a very important topic of global politics of fourth semester, and the name of that topic is post September 11, 2001 incidents. We'll discuss in this video the September 11, 2001 incidences, its consequences, and strategies developed to counter terrorist activities after September 11, 2001 incidences. Before I start the topic post September 11 incident 2001, I request my viewers to subscribe my channel so that benefit will be yours, and if you will help any of your friends of plus 2 first year, plus 2 second year, and plus 3 first semester to fourth semester, those who are not aware about this channel, so that they will get benefit and help to others, is a great service to God. Let us start. What is the incidence of September 11, 2001 incidents? Let us start. Human beings today face a lot of problems. Among these problems, terrorism is a major problem in front of human beings. And till now, many worst terrorist activities already happened, like Air India flight from Toronto to Delhi, where bombing was made, and in 1985 where 329 people died. Gemboru, Nagla, Nigeria bombing case, where 336 people died in the year 2014. Then Karada bombing case in Iraq, 2016, where 341 people died. And Beslan school bombing case, Russia, in 2004, where 385 persons were died. Yazidi community bombing case in Iraq, where 2,996 people died, and the incident occurred in 2007. And September 11, 2001 incidents in America, where 2,996 people died and 6,000 people injured, and the property loss was $10 billion, and the economic loss was $3 trillion. So today, terrorism is a major problem for the human beings, and now human beings are not feeling safe to lead a normal life. So we have discussed till now the major terrorist activities in the world today. Among these major terrorist activities, September 11, 2001 is a major terrorist activity in the human history. So what is this incidents? What the incidents of September 11, 2001 incident? What is this incident? What was this incident? On September 11, 2001, Tuesday morning, a Boeing 767 was hijacked and crashed into the North Tower of World Trade Organization, where 11 crew members and 70 passengers were dead. In the same day, means Tuesday, September 11, 2001, another plane 767 was hijacked and crashed into the South Tower of World Trade Organization, where 9 crew members and 51 passengers were dead. Again, the same day, another Boeing 757 was hijacked and crashed into the west side of Pentagon, where 6 crew members and 53 passengers were dead. And in the same day, again, another 757 plane was hijacked and its target was White House and a nuclear power plant in eastern side of America, but the attempt was failed. But 7 crew members and 33 persons were died in the spot. So, the incidents of September 11, 2001 was a great blow to the humanity. And in these incidents, 10 billion people, $10 billion was the loss, and the economic loss was $3 trillion, and 2,996 people died and 6,000 people were injured. These were the incidents of September 11, 2001. Now we'll discuss what were the consequences of these incidents. No doubt these incidents occurred on September 11, 2001. But what were the consequences? The first consequence was the economic consequence. So what were the economic consequences? Number 1. In America, stock market was closed for 4 days. The first economic consequence was that in America, stock market was stopped for 4 days. Airline industry lost $5 billion from the attack. Number 3, 1,000 planes of American Airlines were grounded. 1,000 workers of airlines were out of work. America, to retaliate, attacked Iraq, and it was in war with Afghanistan. And in the Afghanistan war, Congress sanctioned $29.3 billion, and for war with Iraq, the $36.7 billion was sanctioned by the Congress to fight against Saddam Hussein of Iraq, because Saddam Hussein was giving help to Al-Qaeda. And the incidents behind September 11, 2001, behind these incidents, Al-Qaeda was responsible, and it said Osama bin Laden was responsible. Again, due to this, other areas of America were neglected because much money was sanctioned to fight against terrorism. So other areas of America were neglected. And there is rise in tax on people. High taxes were levied on people. So these were the economic consequences. Then, what were the political consequences of the incidents? Both parties, Democratic Party and Republican Party in America, stressed for new type of terrorist law, new type of law to prevent terrorism, and to make terrorist law more rigorous. Number 2, other countries like Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, and New Zealand started to frame laws to prevent terrorism. Number 3, Department of Homeland Security in USA was created. In America, a separate department was created known as Homeland Security was created to counter terrorism in the domestic sphere. Again, a Patriot Act of America delivered more power to federal government of America to deal with anti-terrorist work. And the Patriot Act clearly pointed out that if in America there will be any terrorist attack, it will be the federal government will be responsible. It will be the federal government who will be responsible. So, on the basis of Patriot Act, the federal government of America was given much power to prevent terrorism. So, these were the political consequences. Now, see, what were the social consequences? So far as social consequences were, number one, in USA, citizens of other nations were looked with suspicion after this incident. Other nations, citizens of other nations in America were looked with suspicion. Number two, people of other nations were attacked. Number three, American avoid to travel in air. They gave priority to travel on land. So, by this, road accidents increased to a considerable extent in America. These are the social consequences. Now, see, cultural consequences. People started to spend more time in family. People started to spend more time in churches. Feeling of patriotism developed among American people. These were the cultural consequences. So we have discussed what was the terrorist incident of September 11, 2001. What were the consequences we have discussed? Economic consequences, political consequences, social consequences, and cultural consequences. Now discuss measures to counter terrorism. After these incidents, various steps were taken in the international level to check terrorism. So what were the steps? Number one, Security Council of UNO in its resolution number 1373 on 2001 requested all nations not to give support to terrorists, not to give money and weapon to terrorists, not to give shelter to terrorists, discourage people to join in terrorist activities. Again, Security Council in 2003 in its resolution 1456 advised all nations to fight against terrorism without violating international laws and humanitarian laws. In this resolution, passed in 2003, resolution number 1456, Security Council advised all nations to fight against terrorism without violating international laws and humanitarian laws. This is the first step. Number two, another step was taken after this incident was that international cooperation is stressed. All the nations were requested to cooperate with one another to fight against terrorism. Number two. Number three, to counter terrorism, stress to more and more international treaties. All the nations were requested to make international treaties to counter terrorism. This third one, because terrorism cannot be fought with only one nation. It is an international issue. So, stress to more and more international treaties to counter terrorism. This is the third one. By this, financial and arms help to terrorists will be reduced and terrorists will be prohibited to carry their activities from a country. So after these incidences, nations were requested to make international treaties not to help terrorists, not to give them any type of weapons, and not to give them shelter. Then again, to counter terrorism, again 4 steps were given stress. Number 1, prevent as a mean. Prevent as a mean means steps should be taken to prevent inequalities and discrimination. Number 2, steps should be taken to prevent people for battle of ideas. Number 3, prevent people to join in terrorism groups. So, after the incidents of September 11, 2001, prevent was used as a technique. So, what was the technique of prevent? People were prevented not to discuss, not to battle over ideas, not to make much arguments on ideas. Then steps were taken to prevent inequalities and discrimination which will give birth to terrorism. Then people should be prevented to join in any terrorist groups. So it is a prevent as a mean. Number 2, pursue as a mean. Pursue as a mean means terrorist activity must be strongly watched. Pursue as a mean means terrorist activities must be watched. Number 2, intelligence systems should be made strong. Then legal framework should be made to control terrorism. So pursue as a mean means terrorism activities must be watched. Then intelligence systems should be made strong. Then legal framework should be made strong. So it is a pursue as a mean. Number 3, protect as a mean. Protect as a mean means border security must be strengthened. Crowded place must be protected. Activities of suspicious persons must be watched. So protect as a mean means crowded places must be protected, because if there will be terrorist activities, more casualty will be there. Then borders security will be strengthened. Then activities of social suspicious person must be watched. This is protect as a mean. Last one, prepare as a mean. Prepare as a mean means preparation must be made to counter terrorist activities. Preparation must be made to counter terrorist activities. Number 2, continuous efforts must be made to improve the techniques to counter terrorism. Number 3, continuous testing will be made about the strategies. So prepare as a mean means preparation must be made always to counter terrorism. Number 2, in the preparation there must be improved techniques must be added. And finally, the techniques to counter terrorism must be tested from time to time. So in this video we have discussed what is the September 11, 2000 incidents was, what were its consequences, and after these incidents what strategies were developed to counter terrorism. So I request my viewers to watch this video attentively and make best use of this video. And in course of watching the video, you should write down your notes so that there will not be any problem. Thank you. Goodbye to all.